then they couldn't wait for the moment when their torsos got close. We saw both of them reaching out to take one another's hand in their very familiar signature hand clasp. The procession and service today involved strict formal choreography, meaning that the royals were walking and standing in the kind of formation that you'd normally only see from the Red Arrows. And what that meant was there was very little in the way of touch, communication, verbal or non-verbal. So we were looking at some quite small and subtle moments to read between the lines. We did see some body language from Harry and Meghan though. They were also kept apart by the same formal restrictions. And when they were standing behind the coffin during the service, although the wives came to stand with the husbands, they all stood at quite a distance. So we had Meghan by herself and Harry by himself. But once the service was over and they walked behind William and Kate to exit the chapel, we suddenly saw that even though all the other royal couples stayed in the same formation, no touch between them, that seemed to be an impossible task for Harry and Meghan. They moved closer together, and even then they couldn't wait for the moment when their torsos got close. We saw both of them reaching out to take one another's hand in their very familiar signature hand clasp. They used that to create tie signs. We saw in Windsor the hand clasp where Meghan was stroking Harry's hand in a reassurance comfort gesture with her thumb. And I would imagine that there was a strong need for that same comfort of proximity and touch today. Added to that, the fact that they were walking out behind William and Kate, and it was coming to a point where possibly there would be more proximity and maybe even some form of need of communication. One of the bigger moments though was between William and Harry. They walked side by side in the procession. And this was completely different to Philip's funeral, when they had to have Peter Phillips in between them as they marched behind the coffin, almost acting like a human buffer between two warring brothers. Today though, they did walk side by side, but there was a large spatial gap between them, as there was between all the royals, which meant that there was no eye contact going on between them. They just both adopted quite a military persona and marched with very solemn, what I would call poker faces.